Thank you to Zocdoc for sponsoring a portion of today's video. The concept of boy moms is something that has been ravaging the internet for a few months now, so I thought I would finally talk about the psychology of boy moms. To be clear, a boy mom is not just a mom of a boy, a woman who has sons. A boy mom is a mom who has at least a son and could also have daughters, though not necessarily, and kind of weaponizes sexism in order to compete with and harm every other important woman in that boy's life. Boy moms are typically, let's be honest, women with a propensity for high amounts of narcissism who use their sons as weapons in sexist ways against other women. And I think you can actually act like a boy mom even if you don't even have boys. You hear it a lot in the way some women say, oh, you don't want to have girls, there's so much drama, or they're so catty, or boys are just so much sweeter. Even if you don't have a son, even if you happen to have daughters or don't have kids at all, you're still acting like a boy mom right now. So today we're going to talk about the characteristics of a boy mom, what boy moms are like when their sons get married, and what boy moms are like as grandmothers. Let's get into it. The characteristics of a boy mom.
I am a boy mom. I'm a cool, hot boy mom. I'm a boy mom forever. I'm a boy mom.
My son is the only man I'll ever truly love.
What about your husband? I could have sworn you were married.
Oh, he doesn't even compare. Trust me, you'll understand if you ever have a baby boy. They're just so special.
I actually have 3 kids and they're all boys. I still love my husband, though.
Then you just don't have that bond with them. I pray my son never gets married. My mama heart could never recover if another woman stole him from me.
I would be so happy if my kids fell in love and got married. Why don't you want that?
Because he doesn't need a wife when he has me. I cook for him, I clean for him, I snuggle him. I give him more than any random woman ever could.
Girl, you're literally his mother. You're not his wife. Why are you acting like
Don't
that?
remind me. It hurts to think about.
Holy shit, your son is a grown man. He's gonna be okay, I
My
promise.
son is only 34 years old, and no matter what, he'll always be my baby boy. Nothing will ever come between us. I love all my kids equally, but if my daughters fell off a cliff, I wouldn't even shed a tear. But if my baby boy right here even scraped his knee or got a paper cut, mommy would fall into a coma. Don't ever do that to me, okay, baby boy?
One of the biggest characteristics of the relationship between a boy mom and her son is emotional incest. Now, if you're not familiar with emotional incest, there is a book I would highly recommend. It's called The Emotional Incest Syndrome by Dr. Patricia Love. It goes into this really comprehensively, but to give you a succinct summary, emotional incest is when typically a parent puts these emotional responsibilities onto typically her child that her romantic partner cannot meet, either because he's emotionally neglectful or because maybe she doesn't have a partner. Emotional incest tends to be pretty common in single parents or with parents where their relationship is not solid. Because you end up having a mom with all these unmet emotional needs who transfers them onto the only person there who is her child, who is also unable to understand why it's wrong and why it's going to cause serious harm. So this is where you get things like parents being really creepy about going on like mother-son or father-daughter date nights, purity balls. Huge sign of emotional incest when a parent really leans on their kid for emotional support instead of it being the other way around. All these are examples of emotional incest. The thing about emotional incest is that it relies on the objectification of the child. This parent sees other people, particularly their child, as a way to meet their own psychological needs. They don't see it as a little person with their own needs and desires and boundaries. They don't care about consent, even when it comes to emotional things, personal space or privacy. For instance, they might walk in on their kids changing all the time. Another characteristic of boy moms is that typically their son or sons take on the golden child role in the family. And now if you're familiar with narcissistic family systems, typically there's a golden child, there's an invisible child, and there's also a scapegoat or a black sheep. If there is a son and a daughter, it's pretty common for narcissistic women to make the son the golden child and to make the daughter the scapegoat, because narcissistic women, again, tend to be very competitive with other women because that's kind of what's taught to women to sort of get a leg up in the world. There are, of course, exceptions to this. There are sometimes narcissistic women who treat their daughter as the golden child because they see them as an extension of them, but I would say the opposite is more common. And so boy moms you'll often see really idealizing their sons and then treating their daughters really poorly. Boy moms basically use their sons as a tool to prop them themselves up in the patriarchy. They wield their internalized misogyny as a weapon. Now, weaponizing relationships is again a form of objectifying people and is very common in narcissism. Boy moms derive a lot of validation from overindulging their sons. They want to be sort of like the most important person in their sons' lives. They teach them to devalue other women, to expect to be treated kind of like a prince and to never lift a finger in the home. They say things like boys will be boys in order to always excuse the man's behavior and basically send the message that whatever women are around them need to just suck up the behavior. And they also infantilize their sons as adults. They treat them like they can't do their own laundry or cook for themselves or things like that. That again puts a ton of responsibility on the women in those sons' lives. But it also hurts the sons as well, because being infantilized as an adult is not developmentally appropriate. Meanwhile, if you have a boy mom and you're a daughter, you likely get it even worse, because you're either invisible or you're being scapegoated all the time, blamed for everything that's happening wrong in the family system. You might see your narcissistic mother always trying to one-up you and sort of compete with you, acting in jealous or envious ways. Whereas the brother you see getting completely different treatment, which can also cause a lot of friction between the brother-sister dyad. Now, if you've been dealing with a boy mom in your personal life, there's a good chance you might need a little extra help with your health. And this is where I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Zocdoc. Zocdoc is a free app and website designed to help you find high-quality in-network providers, pick the one you want, and instantly book the appointment. They have over 100,000 providers in a wide range of specialties. Now, I used Zocdoc a lot when I was still living in the US. I remember on one occasion specifically, I had just like this weird sensation of something grainy in my eye one night, and the next morning I was freaking out. I went on Zocdoc. Within 10 minutes, I was able to book an appointment with an eye doctor just 15 minutes away from me. I went and got it checked out. It was a tiny corneal scratch, and I was reassured the rest of the day because I had diagnosed the problem, gotten the treatment, and knew it was going to go away soon. I've also used Zocdoc to find dermatologists, dentists. When I was living in Seattle and I didn't yet have a primary care doctor, I used Zocdoc to find a family care doctor for an urgent problem that I had, which would simply not be possible without platforms like Zocdoc. So what I love about Zocdoc is that it's really easy to find healthcare providers in your area who also take your insurance. You can see the reviews. You can pick the one with the highest ratings. You can also choose the appointment time that's most convenient for you. And often you can choose something that's within 24 to 72 hours, which is super impressive considering the state of the healthcare system in the US. And then the office just approves your appointment and you're good to go. And also, if you're new to a city and you don't know where to start looking for a provider, it can really give you a sense of the healthcare environment where you live. So for example, when I moved from Chicago to Seattle, I noticed a lot of differences in terms of what insurances were common in one versus the other, what types of fields were more saturated versus less saturated, which I think is really valuable information that you need to arm yourself with when dealing with the healthcare in a particular place. So visit my Zocdoc link below in the video description to easily book local, top-rated doctors who can see you quickly. Thank you so much to Zocdoc for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Moving on to what are boy moms like as mother-in-laws. Now, I am very blessed that I don't have to deal with this in my own life, but unfortunately, I think there is such a wave of seeing this type of content online because it is extremely common.
Are you ready to meet mommy? Your first and only one true love. I feel so bad for his future girlfriends. They're gonna have to compete with me. There's no competition. I win, you lose. Hi, baby.
Hey, Mom.
Hi.
So this is my girlfriend.
Oh, hi. Honey, you're not wearing the outfit I picked out for you.
Mom.
Well, I hope you guys had a good date. I hope you're treating him right, because I've been taking him on dates since he was a baby.
Thanks, Mom.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, I cut the crusts off for him. It's a mom thing.
You want him off too?
Young love, so sweet. I remember when I met the love of my life. It was just when that little guy kicked in my stomach for the first time. So what's been going on with you two?
Well, Mom, we've been having a lot of fun, and she actually just gave me my first kiss.
Oh. Well, baby, I was your first kiss. It's okay. I'll give up some hugs and kisses for you, though. It's okay. Okay, well, I guess I'll just leave you two alone. But just as a side note, honey, just don't try to cook for him, okay? Because I make him the best meals. He's really used to my cooking. Bye.
Today I found out that my son's useless wife was forcing him to do his own laundry, and my mama heart absolutely shattered. I immediately grabbed my keys and drove over to their house to confront the witch that he's married to. When I walked in, I saw my poor baby doing his own laundry, and I immediately fell to my knees. His hands were literally shaking and he was sobbing. I couldn't believe that she was making him work so hard. I immediately sat him down and fed him because my baby boy was being put through hell and he needed his mommy to save him. My sweet boy is only 29 years old, so it broke my heart when I realized that his wife only cooks for him and she doesn't actually feed him. He ended up requesting some milk, so of course I put it into a bottle and fed him just like I used to. And after this, he confessed that his wife hadn't even been cutting the crust off his sandwiches. This sent me into an absolute rage. I wanted to confront her in person, but she was still at work, so I decided to call her and give her a piece of my mind. I couldn't control the words that came out of my mouth. I let her know that she's lazy and useless. All she does is go to work and take care of her kids. She's a pathetic excuse of a wife. I begged my baby to come back home and live with me, and I also gifted him this laptop so that he could watch some alpha male podcast and finally find the courage to divorce her.
My son decided to spend Thanksgiving with his wife's family instead of me. He's upset because I didn't invite his wife to our family Thanksgiving dinner, but she's not my family. We're not related at all. We don't even share the same blood. My baby boy is only 42 years old. There's no reason he shouldn't be spending the holidays with his mommy. My mama heart is breaking because he's gonna be starving since she doesn't know how to cook. He's also doing the same for Christmas. He truly married a witch. He married a witch who is breaking apart his family. Justin, son, if you see this, please unblock me. Your wife is evil. I'll always be the first woman in his life. She's just his little girlfriend.
Yeah, she's his girlfriend. I don't think she's trying to take your spot.
Even if she tried, she could never. Joshy loves his mommy. He'll always love me more than he loves her.
It's just a different kind of love. Like, you don't love your dad the same way you love your husband.
Okay, but she doesn't even cook or clean for him. Like, she's not doing his laundry. Why is he even dating her? The little girl's useless.
Please get a grip. She's his girlfriend, not his fucking mom.
Exactly. That's why he'll always need me more than he needs her. Also, she's a blonde. Why is he dating a blonde? I thought that my son's smart enough to date someone who looks more like his mom.
Mother-in-laws who are boy moms see the other women in their son's life as competition, again, because of that narcissism. Because their son is the source of their self-esteem or validation, they feel like if they are not the most important person to their son, they're going to like melt or something. And also because of the emotional incest that's blurred the lines between the romantic and the paternal, when they see another woman being romantic with their sons, it can be very confusing and on a very deep level feel like their romantic proxy is being taken away. And so these feelings of jealousy might come up. And this is all because comparisons and competing with other people is very common in narcissism. And for women specifically, competing with other women is very common in narcissism. It's not as common that you'll see a narcissistic woman competing with another man. And when you have a mother-in-law who's a boy mom, you'll see that she often uses misogyny against her daughter-in-law. She might be asking, why isn't his wife infantilizing him the way I do? Why doesn't she make him cookies exactly the way that I make him cookies? Why is he such an involved partner and parent? I've never experienced a man being so involved as a dad, so this isn't normal. The mom should be taking on 90% of the responsibilities of the child rearing. Why are they equals? She should be catering to him. He's my little idealized baby. She's just the woman who stole him away from me. And then because of this type of competitiveness, you'll also see boy moms trying to exclude their daughter-in-laws as much as possible, which can create a lot of friction in the relationship. It's also very common for them to accuse their daughter-in-laws of brainwashing or seducing or bewitching or trapping or stealing her son or keeping him away from his family because, again, she's unable to see her son as anything more than just an object. If her son is choosing to no longer see her for whatever reason, it must be that somebody else is manipulating and influencing him. It couldn't possibly be that he's making these choices for himself because he's not his own person. He's just an object, a means to an end for validation. And sometimes what happens when the son of a boy mom gets married is the daughter-in-law as an outsider sees things about the family system that are dysfunctional because she's coming in kind of neutrally. You know, when you're in a family system yourself, you can't really see the dysfunction as well because it's all you've ever known. And so if the daughter-in-law points out the unhealthiness of certain behaviors, she's then going to get demonized. If the son starts setting boundaries or starts distancing himself from the family of origin or starts standing up for his wife, all of that kind of gets blamed on the woman. She becomes the bad object in the situation, the devalued party, And because the son is still going to be the idealized one. There's no way that a boy mom is ever going to not idealize her son, except in very extreme circumstances. What about boy moms as grandmothers?
Hey there, Karen, what's up? Would you care to let me know why I just got off the phone with my baby boy and he let me know that you guys had a doctor's appointment today for the baby? Yeah, we did. We were finding out the sex of the baby today. And you don't think that's something that me as grandma should have been included on? You are robbing me of every single right that comes with that child. I should be included in this process. Listen, Karen, I think that we have tried to be more than inclusive of having you in this experience, but based on how you acted at the last doctor appointments that you came to, my husband and I decided together that you would not be included in any more doctor's appointments or the birthing process or anything like that at all. So we set a boundary and we're going to stick to it. Oh, hush, you're just being so dramatic. Don't worry, this will blow over by the time the baby comes. Don't worry, I'll be in there. But I just wanted to know the sex of the baby. Sure, you can know the sex of the baby. You're just gonna have to find out at the gender reveal along with the rest of our other family and friends. Right now, my husband and I are the only ones that know, and we're gonna keep it that way, okay? If you decide to come or not, that's totally fine, but it's up to you. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Brittany, finally you let me come over. It's like you've been keeping me away for some reason. I want to touch the belly so I can feel Mark's baby. No, Linda, please don't do that. What's wrong? Mom, remember I told you Brittany's not comfortable with people touching her stomach. I told you that. What? That's ridiculous, Brittany. Everybody touches pregnant women's stomachs. That's what they do. Okay, Linda, you should always ask a pregnant woman before you touch them. Do you know that? And I'm one of those ones that doesn't like it, okay? Oh, Mom, she doesn't want you to. Please respect that. Mark, isn't this crazy? Linda, it's not crazy. It's my request. Please don't touch me without my consent. Have you ever heard that? Of course I have, Brittany. But that's no longer just your body. That's my grandbaby in there. So I'll do as I please. Mom, enough. Stop. If you touch her again when she's clearly said she doesn't want you to, it'll please me to remove you from this house and you'll never meet your grandchild, okay? You can leave now. Bye. Yeah, babe, that was hot.
So you think that you could just trap my son with a baby and get away with it, huh? Think again, sweetheart.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I did not trap anybody.
Oh, so now you want to act clueless, right? But you weren't so clueless when you convinced him to get you pregnant. You've ruined our family. You've damaged it beyond repair.
I didn't convince him to do anything. We made that decision as a couple because we're both ready to start a family.
No. I call bullshit. You thought that having a baby would save your shitty marriage. Well, guess what? No amount of children will ever make your relationship with him better than the one that we have.
We actually have a pretty great marriage. He's so excited to be a father. I know he's going to be a great one, and you should be celebrating with us.
Why would I celebrate? You took away my baby boy's dreams. He's only 42 years old. He's not ready to be a father. Now he's stuck with the responsibility of raising a baby that he never wanted.
First of all, he's a grown man. Second of all, he's always wanted kids. You clearly don't know him that well.
Go get a DNA test.
No, thank you. Why the hell would I do that?
Go get a DNA test. I know that he's not the father. You evil little witch, and I'm gonna prove it.
So, when were you going to tell me? Tell you what? That you have a problem. I don't know what you're talking about. That you don't want me to carry on my family tradition. Oh yeah, that we don't want you to take our baby to get his first haircut. You know that was a tradition with all of my boys. No, yeah, I always thought that was a super cute tradition that you had with your boys, but this is our baby, and also he doesn't even have hair yet, but when it's time for his first haircut, we'll be the ones to take him. But that is my thing. On their first birthday every year, I take them to the same barber to get their very first haircut. Again, I love that you did that with your boys, but we want to be the ones to take him for his first haircut, but you can come with us. Emily let me take Jackson to go get his first haircut. Cool. So you're okay with having this on your mind, that you're breaking the special family tradition? Yeah, sorry. I'm just so heartbroken for him and I. You know, you're gonna have to be the one to tell him in the future that you didn't want him to come, and he's the only one that didn't get his first haircut by our favorite barber. Sure, yeah, I think he'll be okay. I'm sorry for trying to do something nice for you. Can you at least promise when you do get his haircut, you put a little bit of the cut hair in a baggie so I can add it to my scrapbook of all the other boys' hair, please? Oh, wow. Maybe.
I was calling to make plans for Mother's Day this year. I was thinking you and your wife and the kids could come to my house, and then we could go to brunch at my favorite spot. What do you mean she doesn't want to have plans on Mother's Day? So she wants to have plans, but she doesn't want to have plans that involve me. She wouldn't even be a mother if you weren't here, if I didn't give birth to you. I just don't see why it's such a big deal for you guys to pack up the kids and bring them to my house. I can't drive to your house on Mother's Day morning. I have a Pilates class at 9 a.m. You guys need to come to me. I know your wife is not going to Pilates. No, I don't want you to come this weekend. I want you to come next weekend on Mother's Day. I don't care if she's tired. I know you guys have 2 small children, but I'm tired too. I go to Pilates every day, and then I come home and I garden for 5 hours. I've been trying to replant my rose bushes. Do you know how much work that is? Robert, please get me a glass of wine. All I wanted was to go to brunch at my favorite brunch spot with my family and show off my grandkids to all my neighbors. But I see that I'm not cared about. I see that I shan't be celebrated on Mother's Day this year. Thanks a lot, son. You've really broken my heart this time.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't actually want to babysit my grandchildren, but it makes me uncomfortable when my friends ask why I never babysit. And so instead of telling them that I don't want to or that I never offer, I just say that you don't let me and that you never ask.
It starts even before the grandchildren come. It starts with the daughter-in-law's pregnancy. During those pregnancies, you see a lot of, again, objectification and sexism. Specifically, boy moms have trouble seeing their daughter-in-laws as more than just incubators. They don't see them as real people with needs and feelings. So they might do things like touch her belly without her consent repeatedly, demanding to be present at her birth, something that's obviously very painful and intimate. Not sure why you would want to force your way into that room. She might completely disregard or ignore the woman while she's pregnant. And this is often something that happens with narcissists when somebody gets pregnant, is they start to basically dip out because they cannot handle that the attention is on somebody else and that somebody else is very vulnerable and in need of support. Especially for 9 months long, that's an extended amount of time for a narcissist to pretend to care. So it's easier for them to just dip out and come back once the baby is born, which makes the mom feel like an incubator. Sometimes boy moms might be upset about the grandchild. They might feel like it's, again, cementing the fact that her son is going off having his own life. Or other times she might see the grandchild as her own child. Again, because of that emotional incest, because in her mind, her son is her romantic partner. So if her son is expecting a baby, it must be her baby. I know, it's really messed up. Really messed up. You might see behaviors like competing with who gets more attention and validation on Mother's Day. Competing with the daughter-in-law on those special occasions, or on baby showers, for instance, like making the baby shower all about her, for instance, wearing like a sash that says best grandmother that nobody bought her. And then of course, unfortunately, you have the objectification of the grandchildren as well. It's very common for boy moms to show off their grandkids excessively on social media to other people, almost as if they're like doting parents, and then behind the scenes to be very uninvolved with the tough parts of being a part of that child's life, just wanting to be there for the fun stuff and then not actually offering any support to the parents. And again, just seeing the grandkids as an extension of them and doing the same thing to the grandkids that they did to their kids. Again, picking a golden child, picking a scapegoat, picking an invisible child. And then, of course, you have mom shaming. When you're dealing with boy moms, there's going to be a lot of comparing their own parenting to whatever other parents are doing, giving advice that comes off very controlling and judgmental. So this is kind of the spectrum of things that you'll see when boy moms turn out to be grandmothers. So there you have it. I hope that this video gave you a little bit more insight into how boy moms behave and why they behave the way that they do. Again, this is a topic that I'm sure a lot of people are needing to seek healthcare advice for, and if that's the case, definitely check out Zocdoc using the link below. Take care, and I'll see you soon.